a look at changing the calculations in a value field. First thing we're going to do is bring up our data, and we're going to insert a pivot table. And for this example, the fields that we want to look at are the region and the revenue. And in order to look at some different ways to change the value, we're going to go ahead and put a few extra revenue in the value box. Okay, so right now every column is the sum of the revenue. Not too helpful. So we're going to make some changes so that we can look at the data in a different manner, in several different ways. We can change the calculations pretty simply by going to the field settings. Under field settings, you're going to have two tabs. The first one's going to be summarize the value field by, and those are going to be some pretty basic sum, count, average, those kinds of things. But then you're also going to have the show value as tab, and those are going to give you some percentages, some differences, some rankings. First, we're going to start with summarize values by, though. We already have some, so let's take a look at the average. And that gives us the average of the revenue for each of those regions. We can go to field settings and we can look at another calculation. This time, let's take a look at the max of revenue in each of those. You can see that it is now listed the max revenue of each region. And in these last two, it's automatically changed the name for us. Let's try another one. Let's go back up to field settings, but this time let's go to show value as. And now let's look at the percent of the grand total. Now you can see that we have a percentage of the total for each region. As you can see, the southern region is 38.8% of the total. Let's change the title of that column to percent of total. Let's take a look at another one. Under show value as, let's look at a ranking. Let's rank them smallest to largest. Okay, as you can see, the west was the lowest and the south was the highest, which is what we would expect in comparison of our percent of total in the column prior. Let's go ahead and change this title to ranking small to large. Then let's take a look at another one. Under show value as, let's look at difference from. Now in this one we're going to pick a base item. We're going to pick the northeast. And what this is going to do is it's going to compare the sum of revenues in the other three regions to the northeast. As you can see, we now have the difference from the northeast in the other three regions. Let's go ahead and look at one more. And let's rank these largest to smallest. And change that title. And you can see we have the reverse of the ranking small to large. So those are just some ways that we can change the calculations in the value fields to look at data in a different way.